Peace, HHDG. We are on another episode of HHDG Media, the podcast. And big shout out, as always, to our HHDG Media crew that makes it happen every week. Rock Vader KB, Skelly Top, T. Smith, the Mayor, and myself, Wiki. Before we get into our guest for tonight, big shout out to Rock Vader KB putting together that ill Coast Contra mixtape. Go check that out on our website, hhdgmedia.com. You can go directly to the link. If you go on our HHDG Media Inc. IG, you can go through the link in the bio. As always, check out our website, HHDG Media, for merch, and as well as the new music that we put up on there. Shout out to the Facebook group, checking in as usual, hip hop discussion group. Peace to y'all out there. And one more thing before I introduce our guest. April 13th, new music. So I'm going to mention Actual Proof. They dropped their second album of 2022, Between Us and the World EP2, The Good Shepherd, produced entirely by Shepherd Sounds. Shout out to them. It's a dope new project. Definitely go check that out. Now, for our guest tonight, he's wow, where do I start? He's done, so much that I really appreciate the music that he's put out. He definitely opened my eyes to a lot of artists out of Ohio, and one of the groups that he actually worked with during the time, which we'll speak about, was, one of those early Ohio groups that at the same time I was listening to J Rawls, I was listening to them. But he definitely, put on a lot of artists that I listened to. And early on in his career, through a German label that we'll talk about later on, he worked with a lot of artists from the U.S. that were also putting out music through that label. As far as his talents, they span more than just his production. He's ill with the DJing. He's worked with the community, to help bring us up, let the people know that we strive to make it successful as well. And he's making big strides to do that. And he's not only just working in the community, he's also an author. We're going to get into that as well. With such a vast discography, I'm just going to name some names that he's worked with that, people should know about. Dominique LaRue, John Robinson, Home Skill, man, B Jazz. Man, I could keep going on. Cesar Comanche, who was just on the show recently. Main Flow, Move. Man, I got to just keep going on, but I'll let him speak on it when he comes on. So without further ado, I appreciate him giving us the time to speak with him. J Rawls.
Yo, man, I mean, with an intro like that, what do you say, yo? I'm like, who is this guy? He sounds interesting. Who is this guy? Yo, thank you, peace, Ricky. I appreciate it, bro. Thanks for having your boy here, man. I'm here. I'm excited to be here. Yo, what's going on, man? HHDG, man. What's going on, world? What's going on, man?
It's great to have you on here.
Great to be on, man. What's the word?
Well, for me, grown man right now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what you do in the community.
Word. Let's talk about it. I mean, what question? You got any certain questions, or just talk?
Let's start with the Hope program.
Word. So the Hope program is something that we actually brought into fruition in the fall of 2021. So Hope stands for Hip Hop Ohio Patent Education. And the Hope program, the whole premise behind it is actually to use culturally relevant pedagogy to help teach teachers how to use hip hop based education in their classrooms. That is the goal, and that's what we're doing. And it's the first of its kind in the country that we can tell, um, that is in a college of education. And we are actually working with students to teach them how to actually weave in hip hop based education, hip hop aesthetics, hip hop culture, not just rap lyrics, not just playing a Tupac song or a Biggie song and saying, okay, class, let's find the pronouns. We're not doing that. We're using the cultural aesthetic. We're making ciphers in our classroom. We're having like not like MC battles talking about using science terms or history facts, that kind of thing. We're using Instagram hashtags to help students pull out main themes out of text or out of whatever they're doing. So we're using sentiments from youth culture, from hip hop culture, and that's what hip hop based education is all about. So that's what we're doing at Ohio University with the Hope program.
That's dope.
Thank you.
And being that you're so involved in the community, where did that begin with you? Was that an influence from maybe your parents or someone that you grew up with?
Yeah, it was my parents. It was a combination of just being a part of the community. A lot of it stemmed from like me. Just once I became a teacher, I fell in love with education. And so, I was already hip hop. I'm a hip hop kid. I grew up on it, probably, just like you, just like a lot of your viewers. And so, what happened was I really knew that I needed to figure out a way to combine my two passions, and that was hip hop and education. So that's really where it stemmed from, with me being in the community with my students and just being there for them and wanting to be there for them. And so that's how I kept it moving.
And when did your love of jazz start?
Oh, that's from Pops. That's from Pops. Just, him playing Roy Ayers or some, Thelonious Monk or whatever he was playing in the background, and I didn't really understand it, but I grew to love it, So that comes from a young age, me being a little kid, listening inside through the vents, because sometimes the adults, they was in the basement kicking it.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, y'all don't come downstairs because we might throw on these Richard Pryor records. Y'all stay y'all little butts upstairs. So we'd be listening through the vents like, I don't really get that joke, but they laughing.
Yeah. So who are some of your favorite jazz artists?
To be quite honest with you, one of my favorites is Cal Tjader. I'm a huge Cal Tjader fan. Vibes, I love them. So, of course, Roy Ayers, Lionel Hampton, Johnny Lytle. Vibes are some of my favorite instruments. I'm a big Stan Getz fan. Huge Stan Getz fan. Man, you got me thinking. The Catalyst, just different groups. Like as I've dug in the crates, I've learned more about jazz. That's part of, people say, oh, sampling, blah, 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 this and that about sampling. But sampling is and digging is what taught me about music. That's how I know music. And I've learned a lot about like Polish jazz, etc.
Yeah, that's one of the beauties of listening to the older music. You see how it evolved, where it came from.
Yep.
And then when you listen to it in other countries, like you just mentioned, you see how they influence and they put their own little touch on it as well.
Yes, indeed, man. And the thing for me is I really enjoy just really digging and finding new music and well, it wasn't new, but it was new to me. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of the big deal with me. I like to look for music and find something new, discover something new, I think that's what lights a fire in my back.
Now, how do you, with teaching, how do you put that into the curriculum, the jazz?
You know,
Because the thing with jazz is a lot of improvisation.
yeah. I mean, yeah, and that's what teaching is, a lot of improvisation, you know. I mean, the main thing with jazz for me is just being able to actually, you know, I use that more for having my students being able to kind of chill and listen to music. Like I'll play some jazz or that kind of thing, and they, you know, they won't listen to it on their own, but they enjoy it when they in their classroom, that type of thing. So that's about my extent to using jazz in the classroom. But for me, I listen to jazz personally.
Okay. Now, I might be wrong, but was the essence of J Rawls your debut?
Yeah, I think it was the orange cover. That was my first that was my first solo record outside of doing, you know, my other work. Yeah, it was. Yeah, man, and that was 2000. Yeah,
Something like that. Yeah,
yeah,
2000,
like
2001. Yeah.
Woo. Showing my age. Showing my age.
Now, how did you get with the label Groove Attack?
Let's see, man. Let me think on that. Groove Attack came from just, man, you know, I've been with them forever. They're like family.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'd have to hit them up. Like, yo, how did we meet? Really, it came from, I think, Eddie L and DL. It was James DL. James DL used to do those mixtapes and stuff, and they were getting records from Groove Attack, and they was like, yo, I gotta connect, you know, y'all should meet. I met the people over at Groove Attack, and I was like, yo, I got an idea for an album. Because a lot of people, if you think about 2000, weren't doing producer albums with a whole bunch of people rapping. That really wasn't a thing yet. Like I was one of the first to do that because I was like giving people all these beats that didn't have no budget. So I was like, well, we're gonna barter. I'll give you a beat, you give me a verse, and I'm gonna do an album. Okay. And that's how it came about. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you brought on a good point too, because I think in the late '90s, there was like a few international producers like DJ Crush that was starting to do that.
Yep. I mean, it was a relatively new concept in the late '90s, early 2000s. I mean, now it's normal, but you know, because producers weren't really the stars. You know what I'm saying? Like now you got a DJ Khaled, you know, getting Grammys off of what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? And that's dope, but that's not how it was.
Right. Mm-hmm. And with that partnership with Groove Attack, you work with so many artists that were put on that label.
Yeah, man, I got blessed. You're right. I mean, everywhere from J Live to Grand Agent to just, I was able to work with a lot of artists, man. I've been blessed. I don't even know how else to put it.
Yeah. Give us when your shining moments during that time, you know, that early time Groove Attack.
I think the shining moments that I can really think of now is probably because of like COVID, and I ain't really been overseas or nothing, but was going overseas, man. Just that whole first time experience, getting to actually meet the fans, because at that time, I'll be honest, man, it felt like we had more fans in Europe than we did in America. You know, Europeans were really supporting what we were doing, and they really enjoyed the music. And so when we went over there, we felt like stars, you know. Did show after show, city after city, and people knew the music, and it was incredible. It was crazy.
Now, of your talents, which came first, the production or the DJing?
Oh, definitely production. I started out in hip hop, trying to break dance, trying to be boy. That wasn't me. And then so the next thing I did was because we had a group in the neighborhood. My man DJ Buka, he was the DJ, and we had two rappers, and one of the rappers ended up, you know, going to jail. You know how it is when you grow up in the hood or whatever. And so that's that's the choice he made. So, but I was the beatboxer for the group. That's how I really started. I was a beatboxer.
Okay.
I started out beatboxing before I did anything. That was really my thing. And then when he went to jail, I ended up picking up the mic. And I really wasn't a big fan of my voice. I still am not. I'm not a big fan of my voice. However, I do. I like to rap every once in a while. I'm not doing it anymore on the record. Them days were done. The Legacy was that last J Rawls rapping record, but I definitely was rapping and beatboxing before I ever started producing or DJing. And so in like '88, we were down in my dad's records, me and Buka, and we were looking, just listening and whatever, and we heard the Jungle Boogie sample from You Gots to Chill.
Chill. Mm.
We lost our minds. We was like, wait a minute, hold up, that's. So the whole rest of the night, I'm talking 6 a.m., like we stayed up all night going through his records, looking for samples, and that's when we got into making pause tapes because we found drum loops. It was like, yo, this is crazy. So we would try to, you record the 3 seconds, pause, record another 3 seconds, pause. So now the tape got a whole, and we can rap to that, and I could hold my, and then Buka started to realize, yo, let's go to the record store, look for another copy of this record. And now we got my dad's copy, and we got another copy, and now he was back to back, and we, so now we got, so that's how we started making beats, like just, like if we had found a drum loop, like Dennis Coffey Scorpio or something like that, we was just, that's how we would do it. And so then we I started we started trying to put things together, me and Buka, and we would a friend of ours had an EPS 16 plus, an Sonic EPS 16 plus, and he was making beats on it, and he was showing us the ropes of how to make beats. So that's where I learned. And then the ASR came out after that, and a friend of mine, my dude Greg, was like, yo, you can get your own ASR. I was like, no, I can't. I don't have $2,000, I can't do it. He was like, yo, there's something called financing. I was like, what's that? I went home, asked mom. She was like, all right, you got a little summer job. We're going to hook you up, and you're going to pay that bill. So I paid the bill, but I still got that ASR over here today. And that's the one I used my whole life, but I got it in 1994. And that was it. It was over. I started just going in, making beats, and that was it. It was a wrap. So DJing came way after. I started DJing in 95.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long, being that you talking about DJing, and you mentioned Eddie Ill before, when did the two of you meet?
Just when that came much later after I started producing and doing stuff, and Eddie Ill and DL was putting some of our songs onto some of their mixtapes, and I met him in New York City, and they just became fam, and that's how that jumped off, and then from there we was part of that underground scene, man, and just the late 90s for hip hop was a great time, early 2000s, all that independent music was being released, and it was a fresh take on hip hop, kind of taking it back a little bit because we didn't have any rules. We didn't have to have, whatever the mainstream industry sound was. We did what felt good. And that was just a great time.
Man, I'm trying to stay on track and not.
You good, man. Hey, we just having a conversation. That's what it feel like. You know what I'm saying?
All right, we spoke about Eddie Ill. So with the DJing, and you spoke about how the production came. tell us about when you started writing. Like, when did you see yourself as an author?
Writing books. I really never did, man, until education. I started teaching in about 2002, and I fell in love with education. And I knew probably after my first couple years that this was it for me. I wanted to be a teacher, and never thought about writing or doing anything. But as I moved forward, I got my master's in education, and I was like, yo, I I like being in school. I like going to school. I like learning. I like um, I like being able to, what's the word? Be in class and learn. And people say, "Oh yeah, you're a nerd." I am. I'm a nerd. I like to be in school. So I did my master's, and once I finished, I was like, you know what? I'm going to continue, and I went ahead and got my doctorate. So that was I finished that in 2017, and that's really for me when I said, okay, maybe I can try to write a book. And by that time, me and John Robinson were really moving forward with. Um, we needed to do a second album, but he was teaching and I was teaching, and we were both just falling in love with education and working with these kids. And we were like, yo, these kids are everything. We gotta help. So our whole thing came from, we were both hip hop guys, and we related to the kids with hip hop. And we noticed a lot of teachers struggled. They couldn't relate to the kids, and we're like, yo, you know, let your hip hop sensibilities out.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they walk in with some fresh J's, like, oh, you got the threes. Like the fact that you know these are the threes, the fact that you know that is really the main thing that helps um keep that relationship, that has your students
That's
like
the connection.
that's that connection. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. So, and that's really how it came about. So me and JR, we actually started doing um, working on our book based off of my dissertation.
And shout out to John Robinson. We've had him on the show twice already. And dope new Science of Life album that they put out.
Oh man. Yeah, that album's crazy. Him and his brother, man. Woo. I'm a big fan. I mean, have been for years, so.
Yeah, since we be talking about you and JR, YCP, Youth Culture Power.
Youth Culture Power. Youth Culture Power. Definitely, yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was our baby. We had a book idea, but we wanted to take our idea and make it. I mean, if you're writing a book, a dissertation, etc., you need to come up with a theory. Like, what are you saying? What are you adding to the field? And what we noticed was a lot of people were kind of shunning youth culture. Like, no, don't bring that into the classroom. You can't learn, that kind of thing. And we disputed that because we did it every day, and our kids were having success. So, that's where it came from. Youth culture power.
Sorry, wait for a second.
No, you good.
Yes. So what I appreciate is we've had a few artists on here that are teachers or mentors, and
Dope.
it's great to see more and more
I
be
agree.
engaged with the youth because we need that connection.
We do, man. Badly. I agree. I agree.
So for a person like me that hasn't been to a island, give us a glimpse of Columbus.
Man, Columbus. Columbus is one of those places that is um, off the beaten path. It's not fast paced at all, but it's a great place to raise kids. Um, You know, and it's a community. It's a community. Um, it's really, what's the best way to put it? It's really the kind of place where where everybody knows your name. I mean, it's not that bad, but it's more so like where people can. It's a little bit smaller, but it's big enough to be a city. Does that make sense? I mean, I think we got a little like maybe 2 million people, maybe three. Not a big city, but you know, we got enough to where if you get things popping, you know, you can do pretty well in any whatever you're doing, not just music, whatever, you know. A big art scene out here, big arts, a lot of artists, you know, a lot of people doing creative things out here in Columbus, Ohio.
And while we on the topic of Ohio, on your album, The Hip Hop Effect,
Oh, you paid attention.
the Ohio Takeover. Tell me what it took to put that together.
Okay, you really paid attention. It took a lot. It took me probably about 8 or 9 months to get that song, that one song done. That song consisted of, I don't know, maybe 20 MCs, all from Ohio, all over the state. I got Mood on there. I got Stally on there. I got shoot, like the third. I got Illogic. I Copyright. I got Tage. If Camus was alive, Camus would have been on there. You know, it was. You know, I got Tanya Morgan is on there. You know, I did everything I could. I mean, at the time I didn't know Kid Cudi, so you know I wasn't able to get him. But like, shoot, we even got Count Bass D, who is from Canton, and most people don't know that Count Bass is from Canton, so he actually set it off, and it was just a dope project, man. Just, you know, I said project, but it was a song, but it was really just one of those things that came together. Something I always wanted to do. You know how you just bucket list type stuff. Like, can I do that? Do I have the juice to put that together? I did.
That you did, yeah. That was perfect.
Yeah, man. Word. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Okay.
With your albums, as you being a jazz fan, what did what's the perfect type of song that you know, if you're not making anything, you just go and listen to that album or that artist?
Perfect type of jazz album.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you know how many there's way too many to name. Of Roy Ayers. It could be a Roy Ayers night. It could be a Cal Jader night. It could be a Coltrane night. It really depends on like the mood or how I'm feeling. It could be you know, a Stan Getz, like some of the artists I've named because they're my favorites. It could be some newer things, you know. Sometimes I get on a Liquid Crystal um, thing where I want to hear that kind of feel, or Mark Mack with the Visioneers. You know, it's really just how I'm feeling. I mean, isn't that what jazz is? It's like the mood that you're in,
Yeah.
and it just sets the mood, and that's what it is for me. So it depends. I mean, woo, I can just get lost in jazz, big time. Definitely.
And looking back on your vast catalog, which is one that, you know, really challenged you.
Which album?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, it's a couple, man. Like I got them up here on my wall. That's why I'm looking.
Okay.
The casual album. The album I did with Casual was really one of my favorites because it challenged me to not just make jazzy beats. I came up with some different different feels for him. A lot of rock, harder drums, like ugh, and Casual just body. Oh, he's one of my favorite MCs, man. Real talk. He he
Yeah.
he he's probably top three for me. He's one of those. And so doing an album with him, how many people get to work with their top three? You know, so Casual really for me just that's one of them. I would also say my very first one with Dose One. And a lot of people don't even know who Dose One is, but Dose was down with this group called Anacon. But before that, I did his very first. Yeah, I did his very first album that ever came out. Me, Mr. Dibbs, Fat John, and a dude named Hood at the time. We all did the first album. So that for me was a little challenging because he didn't want regular beats, and he wanted me to stretch it out, do a little bit different stuff. So that was fun too. So it might be the most challenges.
And being that Fife just dropped this Forever album,
Yeah.
you got to work with them. And that was also on Groove Attack, right?
Yeah, well, see, I didn't get to work with him per se.
Directly?
Yeah, what happened was it was a remix that I did, but they didn't accept it. But Groove Attack put it out anyway. That's really what it was.
Really?
Yep. And it wasn't. I don't even know who did. It wasn't us, but somebody got a hold of it, put it out, and I think Groove Attack just said, "Well, it's out there," so they distributed it, and that's what happened. But yeah, there's a couple joints like that people got. I was like, hey, bootleggers will bootleg.
Yeah. I'm currently reading the Dilettante book, and seeing how the music industry is with stuff like that.
Yeah, man. Yep. You enjoying it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Dan did his thing with that. Yeah, I haven't got to crack it open. I'm gonna have to wait until after finals. I'm grading. I ain't even got time. I can't even front. I'm grading.
Fat John, 3582.
My brother.
Man, y'all put some work in me.
Yeah, and it probably shows like that because it was just us having fun. That's all it was. We was just enjoying. There was no deadlines, no hurry up, we gotta do this, we gotta meet the deadline, we gotta nah, we just was making music, having fun. I was when we did the first one, I would just go down to Cincinnati and stay. They lived in a loft downtown Cincinnati, and I would just stay with him, Pace, and Kyle David, and just hang out. I'd stay a week or so, and we just recorded, and that's all it was. Yep.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Oh man, it was. It was because all we did was make music and go digging. That's it.
Polar Entertainment. You have Polar Entertainment. You have Polar EDU.
Yes, sir.
Tell the people about it.
Sure. Polar Entertainment I started in 2005. I kind of wanted to do my own thing. And Polar Entertainment, the first album was The Essence of Soul. So that's the album I did. It has Eric Roberson, Aloe Black, things like that. Where I wanted to stretch it out a little bit and just try different genres, see what else I could do. And that's also where when I came with the Liquid Crystal project, which is the jazz hop that we do. But 05 was when I started at Polar Entertainment. So Polar stands for, it's kind of my philosophy, how I live. Positive outlook links active reality. And that just says that, if you keep positivity, it will eventually become your reality. And that's what I try to do. So I let the negativity, people always try to bring it on you, but I try to let it like, nah, I'm not dealing with that. I'm not dealing with that negativity. And so I started to notice that became my reality as I worked to, accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative. That's another saying that I always say. So Polar EDU, it happened after, like when I started doing more with education. and that came from me just pushing this education thing that I'm doing with hip hop based education. So I just combined them.
That's dope. We got Caesar from Ninja checking in.
Oh word, what up, family? Yo, he's on. Yo, what up?
Peace.
That's
Now, I was gonna talk about that happy talk track.
Yeah, man, that happy talk, man.
But since he on it now, you might as well talk about it.
Let's do it, yo. I mean, so I had met him years ago, and he hit me, and we was talking, and I think when I told him the Squirrel and the Aces, his first album, he got a couple on there that's just they're staples for me. Like I listen to them often. They in my rotation because I don't use Apple Music on my joint, man. I listen to what I want to hear. Like some stuff I have on my phone never came out. You know what I'm saying? So I can't find it on Apple Music. So I don't even, you know what I'm saying? So, but that Squirrel and the Aces is in here. I listen to that often. And so, when I think I had posted a beat on Instagram and he hit me, I think he DM'd me like that same day, like, yo, what's up with that? And I was like, what's up? And that was it. That's exactly how it happened. And the next thing I know, he sent it back like, yo. And I was like, there it is. Let's go. So, yeah, man, he's doing his thing. That album's dope. Him and Poe Mac.
Absolutely.
Word up.
Man, when we had him on the show, I was talking about your reaction to listening to your track.
Yeah, I just was trying to have some fun, do something different, a different way to promote it. They absolutely killed the song, but I just wanted to why, like, how you be having fun. And sometimes when you listen back to something you made or something you created, you kind of be like, that don't sound too bad. So it was one of them moments for me, man. I was like, yo, I like this. It was dope, and they bodied it, so I'm good.
Yes, absolutely. We're going to talk to the people about the Lone Catalyst.
Word.
Shout out to Jay Sands. He's still out there doing his thing.
Yes, he is, indeed. True indeed. Jay Sands is doing his thing. And Lone Catalyst, that's my beginning. That's my origin. Sands was and still is probably in my mind one of the dopest MCs, and he always was. The thing that caught me with him was his freestyle. So he was such a dope freestyler. He'd be in the Union at University of Cincinnati, and people would be handing him newspapers, and he would just be rapping and saying the headlines and just keep going steadily while people were handing him newspapers or whatever, McDonald's cartons or whatever, and this dude would put it in the lyrics. And we was all sitting there looking at him like, what? So we have been working since way back, and just kept it moving. Once I did the Brown Skin Lady, I got there was a little bit more shine on people from Cincinnati or whatever, Ohio, because I'm from Columbus, but I went to University of Cincinnati, and so did Jay Sands. So we met Quali and High Tech and Mood and all them down there. So once there was more shine on the city, we had an opportunity to put a record out, and we put that Due Process out, and that's really what started it all.
Dope. And for those that don't know, he just released a single because he got an album coming out. The name of that single is What You Do to Me. Go check that out. No, I think I have an Eddie Ill mixtape with me, but I'm gonna go check that real quick. But I want to talk about a frequent collaborator with you. That's Middle Child.
Wow. Yeah, Middle is when I first heard Middle sing, I was like, she's incredible. And I mainly heard her around here in Columbus, just in the clubs or whatever, and she was doing little gigs or whatever. And her manager at the time, this kid named Bobby, was like, yo, y'all should do something. And that's how that album came about. I was just such a big fan. And so the Rawls and Middle album is one of my personal favorites because she's one of my favorite singers. You know what I'm saying? So she really just bodied it, and we just had fun. That was another one. She would come over every. I think her day was, because that's how I do my records. When I'm doing an album with somebody, we do something every whatever, right? So she would come over. I think it was every Thursday, and she would come over, and we would just record. She'd get off work, and she would come over, and we just. Some days we didn't record. Some days we just sat in the studio and just talked about life and whatever, right? And that's how an organic album happens, because we just spent time together and we created a dope project.
Yeah, her voice is definitely one of the beautiful ones that that sticks out. When it's her.
Yes, indeed.
And you were just talking about the term jazz hop, and you said, I believe you said it was around the time of the Liquid Crystal project.
Yep, that's a term that my brother B Jazz and I used to kind of throw around, because I was trying to describe to him what I wanted to do, what I wanted Liquid Crystal to be. And I wanted it to be my type of swing on the drums with the ASR and the MPC, with their jazz capabilities. Like, they just used to, like, they could do that live. And I couldn't. I was sample based. So I would chop up and do boom, 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 boom. And then that's what Liquid Crystal was. The first one was really mostly that. And in the second one, I took a lot of what they did. I just had them just play. And then I chopped them up and just manipulated that second album. That second album was one of my favorites. And then the third album was more them just kind of going in and playing and doing their thing. And so we actually have an LCP4, which is woo. But we just taking our time with it. B Jazz is mixing it. But LCP4 and that has all the elements, because there's a couple members like my man BJ Selah, incredible music producer, who's on this one with us, and you can tell his sound is different, incredible. But that's what it was. Liquid Crystal Project was me. It was a vision in my head that I always really wanted to do, was me rock with live musicians. That's really all it was. And it's kind of in my opinion, and B Jazz say it all the time, but like before Robert Glasper and a lot of this other stuff that was coming, we were doing that. It's just we didn't have that big platform. You know what I'm saying? If we had got signed to Blue Note, who knows?
That's true. Mm-hmm. You said LCP4.
Yeah, man. Yep.
So with the jazz hop, what made you want to bring that as your new 2022 album?
Yeah, my new album, I called it #Jazz Hop, because I had so many people, probably like yourself, that was like, "Yo, Rawls, them beats from the 2000s and this and that." That's why I released the instrumentals, the 1998 and 1999. Those were beats that were just sitting around that people really loved when I put them out, because now people call that chill hop or lo-fi or whatever. In my day, that was called hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So I gave those out, and people, they were received so well that I said, you know what? Let me do new music that feels like that. And that's what jazz hop, #jazz hop is. And I put the hashtag in front of everyone to kind of show you that it's modern, but it still feels old. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And everything is hashtag, because it's like, yo, it's today, it's now, but it feels retro and it feels good. It's almost like getting you a fresh pair of threes and you walking on a summer day and you chilling, like, yo, that's what #jazz hop is. It's a fresh pair of threes on a sunny day.
There you go. And being that you say that with what upbeat type of feeling, one of my favorite tracks is "Move."
Oh, yeah.
That's one that I play in the morning.
Dope, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, that mood. I mean, it made me feel that, just a mood. It gave me a mood every time I heard it. So I said, yo, I'm just calling it #mood.
Now, when you put these tracks in, was there any special way that you sequenced them?
You know what? No, and I'm never good at sequencing. I don't really have a certain way that I sequence. I listen to the songs and I just play them by feeling. Honestly, that's how I do it. I knew daydreaming and night dreaming is how I wanted to start and end it, and in between, just how it was. It just everything's on feeling when I create everything.
Were there more tracks that you didn't put on this album?
No, actually, no. Everything I had that I specifically made these tracks for this album. So there were no like, oh, I'm gonna record 50 songs and choose 20. I didn't do that. I set out to make these songs. I probably set out to make 12, and I ended up having more, like a couple more, because I wanted to keep creating. And I just felt like, yo, I want to do another one. Saturday Night was one of the last ones, and that's one I had actually released before, but I just wanted to play with it and just so I changed the drums, I gave it a different feel, and things like that. Just it was me having fun. That's really all it was. That's it was for me to have fun, and I just released it to the world. See if y'all like it. If not, I do, so I'm good.
Dominique LaRue, My Verse, Only Love, Carolina Dirty.
Wow. You've done your research, Heresy. You next level with it.
I got the vinyl.
Oh, that's big. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. So that's DJ Buka. Put all that together. He used to manage Dominique LaRue. She's a Columbus MC. Incredible. Dope. Me and her did an album together. She's everything. And Moni was creating something, and Moni had found Dominique LaRue on Twitter or Instagram, something, right? Social media. She was looking for dope female MCs, and she wanted to form like a super group. And she found LaRue, and Buka was managing LaRue. Buka was like, yo, I got a producer who could do the whole album. And that's my brother Buka, man. He just his mouthpiece game is crazy. So ended up meeting Moni through this whole situation, and that album is one of my favorites. We really went in. Peace to Mr. Long, he did one of the joints on there, but other than that, it was me. Yeah, that was dope. Them MCs was incredible.
Yeah. I actually I saw My Verse at I believe it was a Rocksteady show in New Jersey years ago.
Dope. Yeah, Verse is crazy. And Verse really kind of blew up after she started doing like Nick Cannon Wildin' Out and all kinds of different stuff. But she's a battle rapper. Like, you know how people say, oh, she's a female MC. Like, no, she's an MC. Like, they can rap. Like, you don't have to put female in front of it. It's incredible.
Yep. And then who put put Carolina Dirty in there?
Oh, that's Moni. Moni put the whole group together. She did it. That was all Moni loved. Moni knew she had a vision, and she did it. And I was like, yes, ma'am. You're the legend. She the one, she worked with Queen Latifah and Native Tongue, not me. So she said, this is what I want to do. I said, yes, ma'am. Let's do it.
Wow. And it was funny when I saw her name because I knew it was because I already listened to Spectacle, which is her brother.
Yeah. Yes. You already know. Crazy.
So with your music, what do you want the people to take from it? Listening to your discography.
Yo, that's a dope question. Honestly, man, I just want people to enjoy the music, and just get that feeling that I get. Like, to me, music is to be felt. Like, it should give you a feeling. It should, every time you listen, happy, sad, whatever the mood it puts you in, that's what you should get. And so that's That's what I want people to get. I just want them to get joy, and I hope it's long lasting. I hope it's a lasting thing. You know, most of the people that listen to my music, they like it and they keep listening. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it feels good. You know, I'm not talking about tearing the club up. I'm talking about everyday stuff. Like, you got bills. I got a song called Bills. You got bills to pay. You got bills. I got bills. Like, I'm just telling the truth, and people can relate and they appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now, what else you got up on that wall behind you? Those are all your albums?
Most of them, not all, but the majority of my albums are up on the wall. You know, I got pictures of some family and friends,
Okay.
like Mos Def, Diamond D, the Liquid Crystal Project, House Shoes is up there, Dose One and Fat John and me at my apartment in Cincinnati where I made Brown Skin Lady and where we started the 3582. Pictures of me and Madlib, me and Kweli, me and my first group, Buka and Ace. You know, pictures of some fallen homies up there. My man King Seven, my brother Michael Ritchie. I mean, so it's just this because this is my studio. So this is home and this is where stuff feels good. So I got everything. I got vinyl. I got turntables. I got everything down here, man.
Keep that good energy there.
Keep that energy, indeed. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
One more thing before I go check for this mixtape real quick. The name J Rawls. Tell us that origin.
Well, it's really my name, but I can tell you the origin. The origin came when I was in college, pledging a fraternity, and it was actually before I pledged. Actually, Alpha Phi Alpha all day, and when it was a kid, a guy named Scooter, and he first started calling me J Rawls, and I don't know why, but he did. He's like, "Yo, J Rawls, what you doing? Blah blah blah, J Rawls, J Rawls." And so the whole campus started calling me J Rawls, and so that's really how it happened. It didn't even happen until college, like my second year in college. I had never been called J Rawls until like 94, 95, and that's when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah. Oh, I got some fam up in there today. Shout out Ultramag AP. Peace.
All right. What's going on? Peace.
My man has been making some dope video edits. You go check out his IG page.
Dope.
Now you already mentioned Liquid Crystal Project 4. What else you have in store that you might want to let the people know about?
What goodies I got in store that I might want to let the people know about? The main one that I'm working on that's going to be coming to y'all soon. There's a couple, but the main album is I'm doing an album with DJ Rhetmatic from the world famous Beat Junkies.
Who's that album? Producer, by the way.
Oh, he's incredible. Me and Rhett produced an album together. Like every beat we made together, like working, not sending files. We worked on it together. He lives in California. I live here. He live in LA. I live here. But just through the years, doing trips, whatever. And so we started talking to a lot of people we know. We know a couple people, right? So we got some people on the album like Blue, like Razzcast, like Frank Nick from the Yancey Boys, like Illa J. We kind of went in. We got Trek Life, Superstition. My girl Ann One. We got Craig G on the album. So this album is, and it's a mixture. It's hip hop. We got some singing. We got some R&B. It's a mixture, and then it's instrumentals with just beats. So if you feel like rapping, you throw on our joint and just go in. It's one of them kind of albums. Like I said, we feel good is what I do. The next thing I've been working on is an album with my brother DJ Center, who's probably hands down my favorite DJ. um, because I'm really into Brazilian music, and that's really my thing. Like that's where I am right now. That's what's on my phone. You know what I'm saying? Um, but Center is just a master of Brazilian music, and we started working on an album together. And we are creating an album. We already got Slim Kid Trey from the Far Side on there, um, on this album, and this album is going to be crazy because it's going to have Brazilian feel. It's called Brazilian Dream, um, and also dealing with Center. I've been really pushing my styles. You know, I came with the soul, you know, the new soul. I came with the jazz hop with jazz. You know, I already do hip hop, so I've been working on like house and dance floor music. That's what I've been getting into lately. Just new, you know. As long as you keep exploring music and finding new things, you're growing. And so I consider myself growing. So the beats I make reflect what I'm listening to. So I've been making some houseier type tracks like Brazil, like hashtag Brazil on the Jazz Hop album. And so I got a 7-inch, a 45 coming on DJ Center's label called Push the Fader. And this 7-inch is called I Believe. And Center thinks it's going to be the summer banger. Like Giles Peterson, DJ Spinner, Geology. He think all of them is going to be messing with that because the record is serious. It's serious business. So I'm excited, man. New chapter for me. You know, doing some dance floor, some house music, and we'll see how that go.
That's gonna be dope. Expand the mind.
Yes, sir.
But you know, hey, if you got a creative mind, let it flourish.
Indeed.
And it's funny you mentioned house music because it was unexpected when DJ Babu dropped his Melvin projects.
Yeah.
Man, and those are slamming.
Of course. Yeah, Bab's that dude. You already know. Yep. Definitely.
So before we go, what else would you like to tell the people?
Yo, 2 things. Number 1, get at me on Instagram at J Rawls 82. Same for Twitter at J Rawls 82. Holla at me. Say what up. I'll say what up back. But the real thing you want to do is check me Sunday nights at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch. Twitch.tv / J Rawls 82. I'm DJing. I'm playing exclusives, like the thing people like. I'll play a Reflection Eternal High Tech and Quali song that never came out. You know, I'll throw that in there in a minute. You know, I'll give you a Mos Def song that you never heard because it never came out. Like I can do, you know, I got that kind of stuff that I'll be playing. So I like to, you know, lay some treats on them. You know, I play joints, play a lot of house, play a lot of Brazilian. You know, I play everything that feels good. If it feels good, that's what I'm playing.
That's dope.
Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern.
6 p.m. Yeah, I definitely got to follow you on Twitch.
Please do. Come see me.
Definitely. And in the comments, I put up the latest album for everyone to go check that out. Hashtag Jazz Hop.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate that.
Just give me a second. I'm going to be right back.
All right.
few of my cassettes over here, so I wanted to see if I had one of those Eddie Hill mixtapes in here. Check real quick. Yeah, I've been trying to organize my folder, so I got something with me. Yeah, I was definitely picking up a lot of those Eddie Hill MDL mixtapes back then.
Oh man, yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
And I don't want to keep it much longer, but I greatly appreciate you taking the time to speak with us on HHDG Media.
Word, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for having me. To everybody out there, yo, peace. Appreciate y'all. Definitely check out the projects. You know, hit me on IG. Say what up.
Absolutely. And is there one more thing I want to think? Is there any local talent that you might want to let the people know?
Oh God, there's too much. In Columbus, Ohio, one of the ones that I'm a big fan of is this kid named Nova, Nova. He's dope. We did a little EP together because I'm a big fan. There's a singer named Danielle who's incredible. A producer out of Columbus named Rob Riley, incredible. He's part of Liquid Crystal Project, and my brother Selah, BJ out of Columbus, Ohio as well. He's part of Liquid Crystal Project. My brother B Jazz and Liquid Crystal Project is killing. He does like orchestrated sounds. He's just next level with it. There's a lot of talent in Columbus, man. You know, a lot of things going on. I forgot to even tell y'all, I'm doing an album with Copyright and Nico is Quali's protege. Yeah, we're doing an album, but that's a little bit down the line, so you'll hear about that. But just to kind of throw that out there. But I mean, I'm staying busy, man. I'm working. I mean, I'm working on another book with John Robinson. We just got book number 2 in, so that's going to be coming out in the next couple months. And we're writing book number 3 right now. So why stop? I'll stop when I'm dead.
Like I said, let the creative juices keep flowing.
Indeed.
Absolutely, man. On behalf of our HHDG Media Group, we're going to say peace.
Peace and blessings, and I want to thank you once again, Wiki. One love, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.